Hey guys, welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about military spending, and foreign affairs. My name is Nagi,
Cody Jitsu 316.
and let's get into it. Should America be involved in so many overseas affairs?
Obviously, one of the biggest things a lot of people of the general public that I've come across, they're always just like, "Oh man, we need to get out of there. We need to get out of there. We're doing too much. We don't need to be a world police." It's a big thing.
Right.
And also with what was it, Ron Paul? It talks about all the blowback that comes from, which is pretty much backlash that comes from being invested and involved and putting our noses where we don't need to be.
Right.
For me, not being a military guy, but reading a lot of autobiographies from Marcus Luttrell, Chris Kyle, looking at some accurate military documentaries or whatever. Do we need to be doing all this stuff? No. I think it's done a lot of places good. They stick to themselves and they just build up the military. They have a lot less problems, especially with money. But at the same time, who else is going to do it? A lot of places could have just as much ability to fend off places trying to kill innocent people and overthrow governments, but they don't. I mean, America is the main one, and then we have other quarters of militaries, coming in as like helping out as aid and reinforcement, and as a helping hand more than anything. I mean, we have Polish special forces, we have people from Britain, a couple people from Canada. A lot of our allies send in, little bits and pieces, but like we're the main force. And so it's one of those things like, I really wish we weren't in this situation, but if I was a senator or a governor over there in Iraq government, I'd be highly grateful that we got somebody keeping back, ISIS and Al Qaeda and everything, so.
I think probably generally no. We don't really need to. Although at the same time, I think we should be in areas to defend our allies. The big one being Israel. There's a lot of people on the fence about whether we should be helping Israel. I think we should. They've been a good ally for throughout history, really.
Yeah, since time.
Yeah. So in cases like that where it involves our allies, where like Israel's being bombed all the time,
every couple hours.
Yeah, I think really military should be focused on putting a stop to that more than worrying about some of the other things. But that's just my opinion. I'm not super connected into the military, so
yeah. With that, like a lot of people said, everything should be defense, home defense to keep people out. Well, the old saying in the book, the best defense is good offense. One of the other reasons, from my civilian understanding, of why we're dealing with the threats, beyond our borders, is to make is another way to make sure that they don't reach our borders.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. Why wait until a force hits you when and destroys you, or not destroys, but starts attacking at your final place, when you can go out and take care of it. I mean, it's kind of like what any type of ranger would do, whether military or fantasy. Like you keep track of things before it hits the border. That's the best way to deal with things.
Yep. So, is what the money is spent on a good investment? And I think we kind of went through this. Yes, due to technology and the things that we have now, and keeping other people outside of the borders, I would say probably yeah.
I'd say it's a good investment. I mean, we have to keep up with everybody else. You can't be behind in any type of arms race. that's going on, especially in war times. But just in case stuff hits the fan, you got to be able to do your best to keep up.
Yeah.
Also, one of the biggest things, at least from my opinion, especially with our Navy, I mean, we have the biggest Navy in the world, and that is pretty much one of our biggest fences, knowing that we have ships everywhere that can deploy this and that. And also, another big thing in the Navy is that's the biggest provider of aid worldwide when it comes to food and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's a nice investment. And in general, I mean, you got to have big sticks to be able to hit big people. So you got to, it keeps people at bay, especially, the reason why nuclear weapons is such a big thing, because it keeps other people from nuking you when you have the ability to do it right back.
Yeah.
So.
So back to the spending. Could it be used for other things regarding the military?
Another thing with this is that, apparently recently military spending is not what it used to be. This is kind of more of a general, like a lot of people complain about how much money is being spent on military when it could, it's like, oh, they're spending billions of dollars to build this ship and make these guns and make these airplanes. Yeah. That's, everything has cuts every once in a while, but it's kind of more of a general. Mm-hmm. But it could be used for other things regarding the military. The biggest thing that people want military spending to be done with is maintenance of soldiers when they come home. I mean, you pay all the money to get them over there, kill people, give them all the weapons, and they come home, and they're homeless. Veterans have the highest percentage of suicides.
Yeah.
Among most general problems, depression and all those things.
Yep.
And obviously PTSD is a very big psychological problem that goes undealt with, mm-hmm. Even in general practices. It's kind of in a league of its own.
Yeah.
And it's not that, military spending is typically bad. For me, I really wish that was a part of the budget.
Yeah, for sure. I think just like, all soldiers go through basic training, there should also be some kind of counseling training for veterans, in the process of being discharged. There should probably also be some kind of counseling program that all soldiers go through when they're leaving the service. That would be pretty awesome. But it's not happening now.
Yeah, it hasn't been happening since any war, really.
Mm-hmm.
Soldiers always, they're the bad guys when they're going out and taking care of the real bad guys.
Right.
They're kind of a vigilante, if you had to really put them in bad guy or not bad guy, your hero, anti-hero. They're always anti-heroes, but I just wish they had people to, like a taxi service, take them home. Because I remember when we did a mission trip, me and Nagi here, I remember it was in Dumfries, Virginia, which is a big Marine Corps area.
Mm-hmm.
We see Marines with their duffel bags just walking home on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 4 or 5 a day, most likely coming back from some type of tour. And I was like, well, darn, at least give the man a ride home,
Right.
So I really wish that was included, because I feel like it's really not. It's really charity and fundraiser, backed, and supported.
And so if there are any veterans listening to this, one of the a good program or programs in general that I know of is within the sport of airsoft. And airsoft is similar to paintball, except that the guns are more realistic. They are almost, in their outer design, copies of real-world weapons. They shoot little plastic BBs, but the guns are realistic with similar weights and all that. But in the sport, it's a way to enact combat situations. And so there are a lot of groups within the sport of airsoft that support veterans and will embrace military veterans. So in support of what they've been through. There are a lot of people with PTSD and depression and various other things that come with some of the ridiculous things that happen overseas. And so these groups just come together in support of military veterans, and I would encourage any military veteran that's been in active combat to join one of these groups. I can't think of the name of one right now, but you can probably Google one in your area.
Yeah, there's a lot of programs out there, that help with that in general.
Mm-hmm.
Wounded Warrior is the biggest one. That's one that's most advertised. And then you have the boot campaign, which is all, you buy combat boots for the original price. It's not discount or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the money through, it goes directly to helping out homeless veterans, I think, mostly. And there's a lot of this stuff everywhere. Every place has them. You run into somebody who's a big advocate of support the military.
Yeah.
And I'd say really seek out stuff. I remember when I watched American Sniper, when he came back, if you've seen the movie or know anything about Chris Kyle, he came back and he was teaching, snipers who had lost legs and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically teach them how to shoot again. And one of the main quotes is like, man, I feel like I got my balls back. I think a lot of times you come back from the military, you're done, you're really thrown aside.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of doing stuff like airsoft, which is a simulation of, close quarters combat pretty much with, almost realistic gear, apparel, and weapons when it comes to the look. Kind of help you feel, like the warrior you were. Or kind of help you get back into, I guess some of you might say, feel like a man again without the traumatic, and kind of help you level out,
Yeah. So, we would like to see more military spending and helping out, definitely, veteran programs. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see other series. This video is the last in this series. So if you want to see more gaming videos, subscribe. Leave a comment if you would like to share some more thoughts about this or previous topics. And we'll see you guys in more videos.
Mm-hmm.
See ya.
Hey.
Ken Games, be good for kids.
First things first, everything in moderation.
Yep.
Video games,
Does the way you play your character reflect you?
So basically, what this comes from is, does the way your character reflects you. There's a lot of talk out there.